You're listening to The Home Team, the voice of Croatia's sports podcast.
Football,
Basketball,
handball,
water polo,
tennis,
skiing,
sailing.
you name it, the Home Team has it covered.
And we're back. Domagoj, Branko, Nikola. With us today is the one and the only Martin Cruickshank. Martin is the first Croatian citizen, along with Werner Ilić, to row across the Atlantic. And obviously the first question that comes to mind is, why?
Tough question.
Why and when? Yeah.
Why and when? It was way back in 2015, early 2015.
Was it that long?
I was in Heathrow Airport waiting for a flight back to Croatia. And I had a couple of hours to kill before my flight took off. So I thought I'd get a book. Went into a bookshop and I was looking at various autobiographies by 20-year-old pop stars and football stars. And my gaze dropped to the bottom shelf, and right at the bottom was a book called Salt, Sweat, Tears, with a picture of a rowing boat in a stormy sea. And I thought, that looks interesting. So I picked it up, I flicked through the photographs. I thought, this will do me. I bought it, sat down to start reading, and very nearly missed my flight. I wasn't halfway through that book before I had made up my mind that I wanted to have a go at this. What at the time seemed an impossibly possible adventure. I read the book, absolutely fascinating account of the author's own attempt and a general history of ocean rowing. The first pair to cross an ocean in a rowing boat were two American Norwegians who crossed in 1896.
Jeez. Okay.
Before the days of GPS, before the days of Gore-Tex, dehydrated food.
So you're not counting
Gas
the Vikings
stoves.
or anything like that, right?
An amazing endeavour. Having read the book and made up my mind that I was going to try this adventure, the next hurdle was passing it by the boss. And I spent 3 weeks.
Okay, we should
wondering-
clarify for the boss is the wife, right?
The wife,
Yeah.
yes. I spent 3 weeks wondering how I was going to broach the subject with Vesna, my wife. Because I'd read the book, so I knew something about ocean rowing. I knew it was possible, but it seemed lame just to say to somebody who had no idea about ocean rowing, I want to row across the Atlantic. But after 3 weeks, I realised that was the only way to do it. And I sat her down one evening, took a deep breath and said, I want to row across the ocean.
Okay, I have to say, first of all, I have a feeling your wife is a little more acclimated to adventure from her husband. You're a Croatian citizen. Why is Martin Cruickshank a Croatian citizen? He volunteered during the war and stayed on, married a Croatian woman, and that's how he's a Croatian citizen. And his row is registered as a Croatian citizen, right?
I am a Croat.
Yeah. So you've done many other things that we might touch upon later. Your wife must be acclimated to rowing across the Atlantic. If I told my wife, she would kill me.
Or was she? That's enough adventure for you, buddy. You're staying home now. I don't know.
Luckily, I met Vesna in 97, 6th of January 97. So I was still in the Croatian army. So
Right.
she understood that I was parachuting at the time.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
Chapultepec,
Yeah.
where I met you, Domagoj. And after I left the Croatian army, I went scuba diving in Egypt. I set a world record for high altitude parachuting in California. I went and joined the Karen army in Burma. So she understood that by the time we got married, that I was different from the run-of-the-mill men that she might have met in the past that I don't want to know about. So yes, she wasn't completely taken by surprise.
Okay, now continue. You told her? What did you say?
Hats off to her. Her initial response was, I'm coming with you,
Whoa.
Whoa.
which was incredible.
Yeah.
And I thought, fantastic. But
But
then
you
we
already had
discussed
kids,
it.
though.
Well, we realised that it wasn't feasible. Because of the kids, her job, the house, the animals, dog, cats, etc. But she supported me. And she said, if you want to do it, crack on. And I then found myself at the bottom a very, very steep learning curve because I knew nothing about ocean rowing, about the boats that you needed, any of the equipment, any of the training. I had to start using Google and talking to people.
Did you say, like, okay, when you made that decision, I'm going to give myself 6 months, or was it a year, or did you not have a deadline for when you wanted to do it? Or it's like, I'm going to do it in the next 30 days and come hell or high water?
No, you have to set off over the winter time, between October and November time, and get across by April, May time.
This is to avoid...
Outside the hurricane season.
Right.
Yeah. I'd read this book, I think it was February, and I tend to be quite spontaneous, so I was aiming to do it, start at the end of the year. So I had about 6 or 7 months to prepare.
And that's physically, that's mentally, are you like running the treadmill to get your cardio going, or doing weights, make sure your arms are ready, and legs, and what?
Physical fitness, it's important to be fit, obviously, but it's more of a mental battle than a physical battle. The first day that you're rowing, it's a cumulative effect. So the first day makes it easier on the second day. And then you've got the first and second day, makes it easier on the third day. And by the time you've been rowing for a month, it's actually becomes fairly easy. Your body adapts. It is never easy mentally to live in a small boat, especially with another person.
How big?
The boat is, a two-man boat is 7 meters long. The cockpit on the deck is in effect, it's your workspace. It's where you're rowing. It's your kitchen where you prepare food. It's your restaurant where you eat your food. It's your bathroom. It's your toilet. You do everything there. And if the other person is rowing half a meter in front of you, so be it. There's nowhere else to go. That in itself requires a certain amount of adjustment.
The boat itself uprights.
The boat is designed to be self-righting. That's its most important design.
And is there like a cabin or something where you can lock yourself
There
in?
are two cabins on top of the boat. There's a small forward cabin, which you use for storing equipment in. The stern cabin at the back is used for sleeping in. Those two pockets of air are what gives the boat its self-righting ability. Underneath the deck, you carry, in addition to all the other food and equipment that you have on board, you carry 200 litres of water, bottled water.
Right.
And that's your ballast.
Okay.
So if the boat gets flipped upside down, the weight of that water and the air in the cabins will self-right the boat.
Right.
That ballast water is obviously an emergency drinking water as well, if your desalinator stops working.
That was the next question, yeah. If you were drinking that water, are you refilling it to keep the ballast, but you have a desalinator?
You have a desalinator,
Absolutely. Okay.
which works off solar panels. Everything on the boat works off solar energy. The desalinator is the most important kit. It's also power hungry. So on my first voyage with my sister in 2015, we were engulfed by a dust storm blowing over from the Sahara. And for 7 days, the sun was obscured. And, of course, the batteries that store the energy created by the solar panels starts to run low. And you don't know how long these dust storms are going to last. So you then have to conserve energy. Luckily, this dust storm blew over after 7 days. The sun reappeared. And after we'd washed the entire boat of this thick layer of dust, we could see the solar panels start to recharge the batteries and we could start producing water again. If the desalinator goes kaput, you have an emergency desalinator, which is hand operated. It requires 500 pumps to fill one bottle of water. And it is not something you want to be doing when you come off the oars. I rowed for an hour.
Yeah.
You don't want to be spending your downtime pumping water.
Yeah.
If that goes kaput, then you've got your ballast water.
So hold on, your first attempt was with your sister.
In 2015, I was looking for somebody to go with me because I didn't know what I was doing. I wanted to share the burden of
You
this
asked
lack
me
of
for the
knowledge.
second time, I remember. I
And
said no,
yes, I
obviously.
emailed
Everybody.
people from around the world, from America to Australia, from New Zealand to Canada, from South Africa and Zimbabwe to Finland. And every single person emailed back and said, not a chance.
And how did the first attempt go? How far did you get, and why did you
I
have
set off with my sister from Portugal, southwest tip of Portugal, and we got as far as the Canary Islands. We were plagued by bad weather. Mm-hmm. On one occasion, we crossed the same bit of ocean 5 times. We rowed south. A storm came up from the south and blew us north again. When the storm passed us, we rowed south, just in time for another storm to come up, blow us north again. And third time lucky, we rowed south and were able to keep going. At one stage, we were looking at being forced ashore on the Moroccan coast. Mm-hmm. On another occasion, we were looking at landing on the Azores. Eventually, we landed on Lanzarote. We had a desalinator that didn't work from the very first day. We had a fire in the forward cabin. We had all sorts of things went wrong. And we decided to stop in Lanzarote, sort everything out, and we went again at the end of 2016, setting off from the Canaries with experience, knowledge, and all this new equipment. The second time we got a bit further. We got 2/3 of the way across the Atlantic. We had an accident. One day we were trying to row the boat in a westerly direction, and we could not turn the boat to face west. And we were pulling on the steering lines for all we were worth. We were pulling on the oars for all we were worth. We were taking turns. We were pulling on one oar, trying to get the boat to turn. Eventually, I crawled into the cabin, stuck my head out of the escape hatch, and our rudder was missing. It had been smashed by a rogue wave. Mm-hmm. Initially, I thought, this is a showstopper. We've got no way of steering towards the Caribbean. But then we talked about it, and we realized we had food, we had water, and ultimately, even if you don't row, the wind and the current will take you across to the Caribbean eventually.
Mm-hmm. The trade winds, yeah.
The trade winds, yeah. So we decided we'd keep going. We'd row when we could if the sea was calm enough, and if it wasn't, we would just sit and let the sea push us westwards. 7 days later, it was stormy. We were both inside the cabin. We had both hatches slightly open to allow air into the cabin. It's a very, very small claustrophobic space. And suddenly, water came pouring in through the escape hatch onto my head. And this wasn't just a wave breaking over the boat, which frequently happens. Mm-hmm. This was a wave running over the boat. I slammed the escape hatch shut, closed it as we started rolling. My sister, whose head was at the forward end, was having problems closing the main hatch. Water was pouring in. I started crawling down what was now the wall of the cabin. We managed to get the front hatch closed, by which time the boat was upside down. And we were sitting on the roof of the cabin, looking through the hatch, down at 4,000 meters of green Atlantic Ocean. And that is a scary situation to be in. Because if that boat doesn't self-right, you have to get out.
Yeah.
You can't stay in there for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. To get out, you have to open the escape hatch. As soon as you open that escape hatch, it fills with water. The boat is going to start sinking. So as soon as you open that escape hatch, you've got to get out. You've got to release the life raft from the deck that's now upside down, and you've got to get it inflated before that boat sinks. If you don't, you're going to die. It felt like an eternity, but I guess it must have been a few seconds. the boat started doing what it's designed to do and started self-righting. And eventually water began to pour off the deck and we popped back upright. Unfortunately, water had got into the cabin, and with the rolling of the boat, it had turned the cabin into a giant washing machine. And we lost all our electrics. If we'd been able to use a satellite phone at least, we could have told our families what had happened, that we were okay, that we were going to continue. But we'd lost the ability to produce light at night, to let ships see us. We lost our radio, so we couldn't talk to ships if there was a ship coming too close to us. We lost our radio transponder, which alerts ships to our presence. And most importantly, our satellite phone went down, so we couldn't communicate with our families and let them know that we were still alive and kicking. And the next day, we very reluctantly decided to press the emergency beacon. And 6 hours later, a ship appeared, picked us up, and took us back to Gibraltar.
That's extremely
right
lucky.
back the way we'd just come.
But 6 hours, that's incredibly lucky.
That was
I
very.
thought you
We were
might-
expecting 3 or 4 days.
That's what I was going to say, yeah. Yeah.
And my sister suddenly perked up and said, "There's a ship."
Whoa.
And
What size of a ship was it? Was it like
it
a
was a
massive
large
tanker?
cargo vessel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've always wondered that. So, like, you have a cargo vessel coming up beside you to pick you up. You're in distress. That's, it's a pretty big wall of metal. How does that work?
Six-story
How
building,
do they pick you up?
Filipino crew on board who were absolutely excellent. They came up towards us. We established communications, and they said, "Right, jump in the water. We're going to motor past you with ropes trailing off the stern of the ship. Grab a rope, and we'll pull you on board."
Jesus.
So abandoned ship.
In effect, yeah. Well, behind any large vessel are large propellers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Forget that. So they went round again. They said, "Right, we're going to lower scrambling nets into the water. Get into the water and grab a scrambling net." And no, you still got propellers behind you. So eventually they came around and they did what they should have done first time. Of course, this was a novel experience for them as well. And they stopped their engines, created a lee, and we were eventually able to get up alongside. They dropped a pilot ladder, and we were able to climb aboard.
Yeah. Because I always wondered that, whether you got, the rope down the side of the ship and, you climb the way up, or because it's a long way up.
It's a long way up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You left the boat behind. You just scuttle it, or
Set fire to it, unfortunately. You're not supposed to leave them drifting because they become a hazard to
Right.
other small vessels
Exactly.
like what you were using, Nicola.
Yeah.
So before I left 50-50, I put all our flares together with everything that was inflammable inside the cabin and lit one of the flares. And with a heavy heart, stepped onto the pilot ladder and left 50-50 to go up in flames.
It's kind of cathartic.
Yeah, sad ending for a boat.
Yeah.
She did as well.
Now, you were mentioning before the actual living cabin is in itself very cramped. First of all, I was surprised. So you guys actually had a head in the cabin, right? Like you had a toilet facility in the cabin.
Absolutely not.
No.
The cabin is a cramped space. My sister
like a
is
coffin in one
smaller than me and half the size of me, and it's cramped for 2 people in stormy weather. When I went in 2022 with Werner, as you well know, Werner is a big bloke.
He's a big dude.
He's 2 meters and he weighs, God knows. We only spent 1 night together in the cabin during a particularly stormy night. And after that, we agreed that we would never try that again. It doesn't work. There is no toilet on a rowing boat.
So it was over the side, right?
It's called bucket and chuck it.
Okay, cool.
You have a bucket, you use it, and then you chuck it
throw it overboard.
over the side. Yeah.
Is there somebody on watch all the time at night? So you take shifts,
During the day, one of you is always rowing.
right?
The other person is sitting in the cockpit. It's too warm to go into the cabin. We agreed not to row at night. It's very difficult to row at night because you can't see the water. Mm-hmm. And if there's any sort of sea running, you don't know whether you have to reach down to the water or reach up to the water. Mm-hmm. It's a menace. So we decided we'd row during the day, and at night we would sleep and keep watch. So after dark fell, one of us would sit in the cockpit on watch for 2 hours. One of us would try and sleep in the cabin for 2 hours, and we would swap over. Daytime routine was 1 hour on the oars, 1 hour sitting in the cockpit.
Tell me about the just 1 second. I want to see the oars. So you're going backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thought it was like maybe some other kind of system where you're.
No.
Okay. Yeah. You're going backwards. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
On our 10th day out of the Canaries, Werner was rowing. I was sitting in the cockpit minding my own business. And he suddenly said, I can hear a motor. Some people start hallucinating after a couple of months at sea. Mm-hmm. They start hearing things and seeing things. But I thought, we've only been out for 10 days. It's a bit early to be hallucinating. But Werner was adamant, I can hear a motor. I was sitting down in the cockpit, I couldn't hear anything. But I stood up. And coming straight towards us was a large boat with an outboard engine packed with African migrants.
Ooh.
And
that sounds like a potential security.
My world ended. I thought this was it. Mm-hmm. They're going to come over, 2 white men. They know we've got passports, money, food, water. Mm-hmm. All they have to do is tip us into the sea, take what they want, sink the boat, and nobody would ever know what happened to us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I really thought this was the end for us. And the boat came up. I engaged them with my incomprehensible schoolboy French, trying to establish some rapport with them. And I asked them to keep back because they could easily knock us over. And they kept a couple of meters back from us. And we just had this bank of black faces glowering down at us. Not one of them said a word to us. They just stared at us. I thought, this is not good. We had nothing to defend ourselves with. No. After, again, what seemed an eternity, they got going and they motored off. And I let out the world's biggest sigh of relief. They went about 200 meters and then did a big U-turn and came back. Oh. And I thought, no. They've had a chance to discuss it, and they've agreed that we are easy meat. They can tip us into the sea, take what they want, sink the boat. They came back and they stopped about 30 meters away, and the bloke on the helm started pointing, waving northwards, and shouting, España, España, Spain, Spain. And I suddenly realized they thought we were lost. And they were actually trying to help us, pointing us to the nearest land, which was Spain, which is where they're heading for. So I stood up and I said exactly that. I started waving westwards, saying, no, America, America. And they said, no, Spain, Spain. I said, no, America, America.
Oh, my God.
And eventually they obviously thought we were crazy. And Absolutely, they turned around and kept going.
Crazy obviously, people don't make easy prey.
I'm just thinking what their train of thought is. They're like, man, these white folk got this whole illegal immigration thing backwards. You take the closer route.
So they kept going to what they obviously thought was a better life in the EU and left us to it. So we sat down, made a cup of tea, and thanked our lucky stars.
You rode from sunrise to sunset.
First light to last light, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. 1 hour shift. Because 1 hour, you would like to spend more time rowing, because when you're rowing, you're doing something. Mm-hmm. You're sitting up on the deck, on the rowing seat. You're in the wind, which helps to keep you cool, and you can see the sea. When you're not rowing, you're sitting in the cockpit, you're out of the wind. It is very hot. There's no wind to cool you. The sun is blasting down on you, and you can't see anything except the person sliding backwards and forwards to you. So that hour passes very, very slowly, and you cannot wait for the hour to come up, and to swap places again.
And then you do this for 88 days, or how much was it?
83 days.
83 days.
Yeah. We had a 9-day period south of the Canaries when we didn't row. We were hit by a wild sea, and for 9 days there was no rowing.
Mm-hmm.
And the incident with the migrants was scary. On day 35 we capsized, and that was scary. On day 81 we got stuck in a massive mat of sea moss, which was scary. But those 9 days being pummeled by this huge sea was scary. When you were sitting down in the lee of the cabin, you could almost pretend you were out of the wind. You could almost pretend it wasn't happening. But every so often you have to stand up and check that there are no ships bearing down on you. And then you could just stare aghast at these massive waves that were towering above the boat.
Yeah, just
And
rollers. You can't see anything.
You, yeah, and you take photographs of them because you think this is just incredible. Nobody will believe this.
And the
But
next
when
one
you-
is even
you
better
produce a
photograph.
6x4. It doesn't work. You cannot photograph big waves.
Yeah, it doesn't capture the feeling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these waves were towering above the boat, big black piles of water. And you think, this is it. It starts to break at the top, and you think it's just going to swamp us, push us down under the ocean. It's over. And every time the boat would do what boats do and would slide up the front of the wave. For a moment on top of the wave, you could see for miles all this white and black water around you. And then you'd slide down the back into the next trough, and the next wave would start piling up above you again. And for 9 days, we just sat and waited it out.
Did you see any? We were talking earlier. Did you see any wildlife? Like a pod of hunter dolphins,
No,
whales?
you're
No.
showing off now.
I'm just wondering. Yeah.
We saw a few dolphins on the first couple of days out of Gran Canaria.
I think you sent a picture. We're going to put that in
Yeah.
the video. The dolphins.
After that, the weather was generally too stormy. A lot of flying fish. We saw flocks of flying, I think you call them flocks, swarms of flying fish.
School. I think if it's
School.
a fish, it's a school.
Yeah.
With my sister, we saw whales, we saw dolphins, turtles, marlins,
Marlin.
Marlin, huh? Wow.
sharks, all sorts of things. But the weather crossing with Werner was generally too stormy. I was rowing one night during my 2-hour watch in the early hours of the morning, maybe sometime after midnight. It was pitch black. The sea was calm, and I was just bored sitting. So I got on the oars and did a bit of rowing. When there is no ambient light, the stars above you, as you well know, is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
You can see 1 million stars. The sea was calm, it was black, it was quiet. It was me and the Atlantic Ocean. And then maybe 30 meters off to my right, there was a sudden loud whoosh. It was a whale blowing.
Wow.
And he blew a couple of times off to the right, and then must have crossed right in front of the bow, because the next thing he blew on my left side. Because whales are generally very curious. They do come quite close to rowing boats. And after he blew on the left side, he then dived, and as he went down, he created this massive circle of bioluminescence.
That's. I was just going to
Oh,
ask.
wow, yeah.
Yeah.
And the sea lit up in this almost perfect circle of twinkling bluey green light. It doesn't come better than that.
Yeah, that's
It is
magical,
worth
yeah.
the 83 days of pain to experience that sort of thing.
And how do you live with somebody that long? You must get into arguments. You always find something to argue about.
I couldn't have asked for a better rowing partner than Werner.
Okay.
I knew him from Shipurne in '94. He was a good choice to come with me because he was fit. We'd worked together in Afghanistan afterwards. So I trusted him. He has heaps of self-discipline, and he has a good sense of humour. So he was a perfect rowing partner. But it is a small space to share with another man. If you like, 2 alpha males, 2 square meters of space. Most of the time, I like to think 99% of the time, we laughed and chatted and had a really fun adventure together. But sometimes, on one occasion, for instance, I very stupidly, I had no right to say it, I was probably looking for an argument to let off steam. I accused him of not putting his back into the rowing. I said, come on, you put a bit of effort into it. And we had a blazing argument, standing on the deck, nose to nose, shouting blue murder at each other. But there's nowhere to go. There's no door. You can't slam a door and storm off. And within a minute, I realized I'd been stupid. I had no right to say that to him. I apologized. We shook hands. And that was it. The air was clear, and on we got with the adventure. So every once in a blue moon, we had to have we let off steam like that.
But it's almost necessary.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can't endure that amount of stress. The weather, the solitude, the danger. It's a dangerous environment. People die.
It's life and death.
On
Yeah.
rowing
Not
boats.
to be hyperbolic, but it's life and death.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
life and death,
your
yeah.
boat can hit something, a log or something.
A lot of floating containers.
Containers.
Washed off ships.
Yeah, I was just about to say, because
It
I know
cracks and then starts taking on water. And
The hull of the boat is divided up into 14 watertight compartments.
chambers, yeah.
Which is used for storing your ballast water, your food, equipment, etc., rubbish. You don't leave any rubbish behind, obviously. It also means that if the hull is damaged by knocking against a shipping container, only that one compartment will flood. It's almost impossible to sink a rowing boat, an ocean rowing boat,
Wow.
unless you tip upside down and the cabin doors are open. Then it'll sink like a stone.
We didn't.
Sorry, one thing has been on my mind since we started. This is not something that you go to your local bass fishing store and buy an ocean rowing boat. How did you even get to the point of, like, where did you find that? Where do you buy something like that?
Did you buy it used, or was it like, that's the one I want, or what?
The first time I went with my sister in 2015, I bought a second-hand boat in Spain, which had already done one Atlantic crossing. It was a plywood boat. And the owner, when he greeted me, I flew out to Spain to inspect the boat before I purchased it. The very first thing he said to me, before he even shook hands and said hello, he said, 50% of an ocean row is making up your mind to do it. 40% is the preparation and planning. 10% is the actual row. And that was music to my ears, because it meant I was already halfway there. I'd already made up my mind. In 2021, I ordered a boat to be built. They're made to order nowadays. This one was made of fiberglass, not much more durable. And they are given a Kevlar reinforced hull now. Because an increasing number of ocean rowing boats, for some reason, are being attacked by marlins.
That's encouraging.
Yeah. And there is an incredible photograph of a marlin spike actually sticking through the
Wow.
hull of an ocean rowing boat. If you'd been sitting in that particular spot or lying in the cabin just there, it would have been index, because, of course, nobody's coming to help you.
Right. Infection, bleeding.
Shock,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
They're actually painting the bottom of ocean rowing boats now with special stripes, which apparently mimic an aggressive marlin in its hunting role.
This
And they think
deters
this
them.
might put a marlin off attacking, because they see the ocean rowing boat is already aggressive and getting ready to hunt. Whether it works or not has yet to be seen.
I didn't know that. Marlins, I would think,
Well, it's like sharks
you're
attacking.
worried about a great white or something, but
Yeah,
a marlin.
Great whites are known for breaching on surfboards.
Right.
And the reason they figured out because the surfboard from the bottom looking up,
The shape.
looks like a seal.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
especially
The
with the
arms,
dive
yeah,
on top.
Exactly. The guy's on
swimming,
top doing this, and that's why they do that, right?
That makes
so this
sense.
makes sense to me.
Orcas are attacking yachts for some reason.
They are now, yeah.
love
It's been
yachts.
happening more and more recently.
Yeah.
Well, they got all
These
eco-friendly, and
animals
they're just
These fish are learning. I mean, I'm telling you, that soon.
One thing we didn't get to is what was your destination? Did you say, I'm going to go for the Windward Islands, I'm going to go for between this and this island, or was it like, I
Right.
want to get to St. Martin?
We were aiming for Barbados.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's a popular destination. It's the easternmost of the islands, so it's the one you're going to reach first. And the trade winds and the currents tend to take you towards Barbados. If you overshoot, you've got a whole bank of islands behind it that you can
Yeah.
try for as
St.
second
Vincent,
best.
the Grenadines are back there and all that, yeah.
The problem with Barbados was that as we approached, we were making a good line. The north tip of the island is known as North Point, and somebody used their imagination. The south tip of the island is known as South Point.
Very creative.
Yeah.
I've got an idea.
Well, it helps.
Why don't we? All the books, all the charts, the pilot books say, do not approach Barbados around South Point, because that side of the island is all cliffs and reefs.
Mm-hmm.
So we're making a beeline for North Point, get into the lee of the island, and then choose your landing spot. And it wasn't until the day before, I think it was about the 82nd, might be in the 81st or 82nd day, our weather router back in the UK said, "Whoa, you're heading too far south." But by this time, the wind dictates where you're going to go. The wind was pushing us southwards, and we were facing the fact that we would have to go round South Point. And the day before we landed, as we approached Barbados, all we could see were these massive cliffs and the offshore reef a couple of hundred meters away from the cliffs.
The breakers on
and
it.
the breakers smashing against the reef. We had to stay close enough to the reef that we didn't get washed past Barbados by the current,
Right.
but far enough away that we didn't get sucked in onto the reefs.
You don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, wrong, but you're at the mercy of the elements, really. But with Werner and I, we started rowing half-hour shifts all through the night, and we made it round South Point. Yeah.
Excellent.
And you said you had food and water in your compartments and stuff. What are you eating on something on it? Like, because you guys were, before we got on, we were talking, and Nicola's also done cross Atlantic, but he did it as working on a yacht, right?
Yeah.
Skeleton
Smallish
crew,
yacht,
skeleton
yeah.
crew, but making it cross. And both of you made the same point that there was something that kind of kept coming in every night into your boats, which is
The deck was full of.
Flying fish.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, swarms of them, especially at night when they can't see you.
Yeah.
They would fly across the boat. A lot of them would land in the boat, and of course, once they've landed in the boat, they can't take off again. So you would be sitting there minding your own business during your 2-hour watch, and suddenly get whacked with a wet fish.
That
And if it
wings.
didn't actually hit you, you would hear it fluttering about on the deck. If it got behind some of the equipment, because of course the deck is full of bags of equipment, buckets, etc. If they got stuck behind that, then you had to wait until daylight to find it. Very slippery little creatures to grab.
About this long, right?
Because yes, 9 inches. You obviously try. You hope that you can grab it and get it over the side before it dies. But a lot of them die on the boat, and in the morning you have to go around catching, picking them up and throwing them over the side. They stink. they reek a really powerful fish smell, and it's very difficult to get rid of that smell once you touch a flying fish. God.
And you tried eating them, right?
No, we didn't try eating them. We
Oh, okay.
didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't resort to that. It wasn't until we got to Barbados that we found out that
Their
their
delicacy.
delicacy.
Yeah.
You were wondering, did you ever go for a swim?
No, it was generally too stormy crossing with Werner. I did on one occasion with my sister in 2016 go over the side. A lot of barnacles and weed grows on the hull of the boat underneath the surface, and it creates drag.
Right.
So every so often, if you're up for it,
If you're so inclined,
you can
yeah.
slip over, and just using an ordinary ice scraper, just take a deep breath, go onto the boat, and scrape this stuff off. I wanted to experience what it was like to swim in 4,500 meters of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with a line around my waist, which kept me attached to the boat at all times, and with my sister on deck, watching for sharks, I went into the water. It's a spooky experience.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
A tug on the rope meant that my sister had seen something and was my signal to get back in the boat fast. Otherwise, it was just a question of taking a deep breath, going under, scraping, and then all these barnacles that you scrape off start slowly
Disappearing into
disappearing.
the dark.
And you look down and you see this light blue turquoise water becoming blue, dark blue, indigo, black. And you can't help but wonder what's down there looking up at you,
Yeah.
because we don't know anything about the depths of the ocean.
Yeah.
And I didn't spend long in the water. Luckily, the weather wasn't suitable with Werner, so neither of us went over the side in 2022.
And you're wet constantly. Am I right or no? Or are you dry?
If
Like,
not
are you
wet,
getting
you're-
sores?
You're damp, yeah.
Are you getting sores on your buttocks, on your back, or what?
On your backside, because you're always sitting.
That's what I am.
Whether you're not rowing
chafing.
and sitting in the cockpit or rowing on the rowing seat, you are always on your backside. We carried a huge quantity of pseudo-creme
Okay.
to apply to our bums. Werner in particular, poor soul, my heart goes out to him. He suffered badly. His backside was a leathery mess of sores, and it was painful. Every time he got off the oars and I got onto the oars, I couldn't help but watch as he took his shorts down, bent over, and smeared his backside in this pseudo-creme. And he was in a lot of pain. But credit where credit is due. He didn't complain. He got on and did what had to be done.
Yeah.
But my golly, he suffered.
Well, I think he's a big man. It's a lot of weight pushing down while he's sitting.
It's a lot of weight. Initially, he lost a lot of weight.
He lost
We
a lot
both,
of weight,
yes,
yeah.
you can't help but lose weight.
Yeah, exactly.
You're eating dehydrated food,
Yeah, we didn't get to that.
reconstituted.
Yeah, you asked what kind of food you
what kind of food were you eating? What were you taking in?
Bags of, it's actually freeze-dried food, more commonly known as dehydrated food. You add boiling water, leave it for 10 minutes, and you've got quite a nutritious meal. The problem is it's a sludge. It's nothing solid to eat. If you
it's
if
just
you add
calories.
a bit
You
of
want
extra
calories.
water, you can tip it from the packet down your throat. But it's calories.
Yeah, that's all you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Works better with the bucket, huh?
Works what?
Works better with the bucket.
It certainly does. Yeah. But you can't help but lose weight. Yeah, 3 packets of food per day. We had enough for 90 days. We had 540 packets. So we didn't have much food left over by the time we got to Barbados.
was
After
just about
83
to say,
days,
so
1 week's worth of food.
So near the end, you're already starting to calculate, going, well, this is this
Yeah.
could get dicey, right?
We were starting to think maybe 2 packets a day, breakfast and dinner.
Yeah.
Let's skip lunch.
And when you get to the destination, what's the first meal?
Yeah,
what, like, is
Are
it,
you
Well,
cracking a beer open?
go have a
Yeah.
steak and a lobster?
No. Most ocean rowers say, I can't wait to get a frozen beer, ice cold beer. Rubbish. You want to eat something solid.
yeah,
A piece of bread, slab of cheese, something that you can chew and swallow, and maybe a glass of fruit juice.
Yeah. Okay.
Beers come later.
Yeah.
But you've got to make your way to that food. You've got to learn to walk again because
Oh yeah. Right.
you know,
You
when you've been on a boat
Yeah.
for 3 months, constant motion,
Yeah.
you lose the ability to walk.
Yeah.
And when you get off the boat, when Barbados customs officials eventually said, you may now step off the boat, you're staggering about like a drunk.
In French, mal de mer, mal de terre. So you get
Yes.
seasick and land, like you got to get your land legs back.
Your land legs
Yeah.
back, yes, your sense of balance.
Yeah.
And one other thing you mentioned, you were talking about the shifts and trying to get some sleep, and you intimated that you're not really getting too much sleep. You must have, by the end, both been sleep deprived.
Yes. If you think neither of us slept for more than 2 hours at a time for nearly 3 months,
Yeah.
your body adapts to an extent. But it's still not a lot of... well, all right. You're getting several 2-hour kips per night. But it's only 2 hours at a time. Your body never relaxes into a deep sleep.
Yeah.
And during those 2 hours, if there's any sort of stormy weather outside, you're being thrown about inside the cabin. It's very noisy. It's like being inside a big bass drum with somebody beating the outside every time a wave strikes. You're rolling over, you're getting slammed into the side of the cabin. Any loose kit inside the cabin is flying about. And of course, when your 2 hours on watch are over, you're not just getting into the cabin and falling asleep. You're soaking wet outside because waves are rolling over the boat. Every 10 minutes or so, a wave comes over and soaks you. You've got to bail out the cockpit. You've got to dry everything off. You're soaking wet. You get into the cabin. You've got to change out all your wet kit. You've got to sort it all out. You can't just drop it. You've got to sort it out because in 2 hours' time, Werner's going to knock on the cabin hatch and wake you up, and you've got to get dressed and get out because it's now his 2 hours of sleep time.
Was it cold at night?
No, it was never really cold.
Never really cold.
No. Cold wasn't an issue. Just uncomfortable because it's like seawater. It never really dries, does it?
It doesn't.
You've always got that clammy stickiness to your skin. And when it's hot as well, then you're sweating. You can't. There's no way to cool down when you're inside the cabin. It's pretty miserable existence.
Would you do it again?
That's a difficult question. It's such an incredible adventure. I am so grateful to have been able to do it. Once successfully, 3 attempts. Would I do it again? There's so many more adventures out there.
How about the Pacific?
No. The Atlantic is a traditional route.
Right.
Harbaugh and Samuelson in 1896 did it across the Atlantic. John Ridgway and Che Blythe did it across the Atlantic in 1966. Tom McLean became the first solo rower in 1969. It's always Atlantic.
But I was looking at the Ocean Rowing Society's site when I was looking for you two to find your route, and you can click on the map and all that. And there's also Pacific rowing.
All the oceans. People have crossed
Yeah.
all the oceans. The Indian Ocean is quite a hard one. Not many people have done the Indian. That's a tough one. The Pacific is difficult because it's a big one. People do the Antarctic,
I think the Pacific is a little more
the Arctic Ocean.
violent compared to the Atlantic, isn't it?
The Southern Ocean is,
southern.
very few people have done that. Very, very. I think you can count them on one hand. And likewise, the Arctic Ocean, you're talking about all the thermal gear. You can't row naked. You can't
Ice
row in just a
floes
pair of shorts.
Exactly.
You've got to be wrapped up. You've
Yeah.
got to have survival suits. And especially in the Arctic Ocean, you've got to have weapon certificates. You've got to have a weapon, special oil, so it doesn't freeze up because of the threat of polar bears.
Yeah. Yeah.
If a polar bear swims towards you, he's got the advantage. He is the
He's the alpha in the
alpha
situation.
predator.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
He'll tip the boat over
Exactly. Yeah.
and have you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Atlantic,
That's the one.
plenty. Plenty far.
But, you mentioning there are still so many adventures out there, and there were, right? So there was also...
Yeah. Last year I tackled it's a French race. It's called the Marathon des Sables in French, the Sand Marathon. Doesn't sound quite as exotic. It's a 253-kilometer race across the Sahara Desert.
Foot
Run
race.
over 6 stages.
Foot race.
Foot race. Okay. And you are expected to carry everything you need for a week in the desert on your back. They
Were there
will provide
TV
you with
crews?
water.
Were there TV crews there? It looks
There
like
might have been at the start and the finish.
It looks like they've covered this race for television. I've seen it
There
about a month ago.
are photographers in the desert taking
Film.
photographs.
It was film, and they were following people at the different stages. They've got that tent, canopy, whatever it is, and everybody's underneath it because obviously it's hot. And,
Yes.
And I was looking to see if I'm going to see you because I know you did that race with Chavar,
With Zoroslav Chavar, otherwise known as Ribica.
otherwise known as Little Fish.
Little fish in the desert.
No, when I decided to do it, I again had to look around for somebody to do it with me, moral support, and my focus very quickly landed on Ribica because he has the experience of long distance walking. Mm-hmm. He's done the Compostela,
Camino de Santiago.
that one,
Yeah.
and he's also walked from Zagreb to the Vatican. So he had the experience of long distance walking. Mm-hmm. And after I either blackmailed him or tortured him, he agreed to come with me. So once again, our first port of call was Minister Medved, who agreed to sponsor us, as he did with the rowing. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you spend a week tramping across the Sahara Desert with a rucksack on your back. If you haven't got it in your rucksack on day one, you haven't got it. So you've got to carry all your food, cooking equipment, spare clothing, sleeping bag, first aid kit, emergency equipment.
Water.
Water they provide every approximately 10 or 12 kilometers.
Mm-hmm. And you're eating dehydrated food again.
Whatever you want to carry.
Oh, okay.
If it's not dehydrated, you're going to be carrying a lot of extra weight. Interestingly, I took all my food out of its original packaging, decanted it into freezer bags, and I saved half a kilo in weight doing that.
The packaging.
Yeah, the packaging. I weighed all the empty packets, and it came to 500 grams.
Yeah.
And you enter the race. Okay, you've got to be fit to do it, and you've got to have the mental determination to finish. But every gram of weight that is going to go on your back you become obsessed with it.
Exactly.
The weight of the rucksack. You buy super light rucksacks. They weigh about 600 grams. The food, your warm jacket, your sleeping bag, everything. Am I going to buy this sleeping bag or this one? Well, this one's 50 grams heavier. Can I afford that? And you keep a list of every single item that's going with you on that race.
By weight.
And its exact weight.
Yeah.
And you know whether I've got 8.7 kilos in my rucksack.
How many kilos did you start with?
8.5.
And this is how many days? 12?
7 days.
7 days. And as you go, it gets lighter.
Yeah.
In theory.
Yes. As soon as you eat breakfast on day one, you
Right,
lighten the load
You're
by...
constantly diminishing the weight.
Yeah.
I mean, I know with climbing, we've gotten to things like, you trim your toothbrush in half, so you're just holding it like this, and anything just to get the weight down, right? 'Cause it's the weight's the big issue.
Yeah.
With climbing, we obviously have to carry our water, so as you go, you're losing a lot of weight in the rucksack because water is the big, it's the big variable in that. As you drink it, you're losing the weight, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Right. But okay, so hold on a second. So we've done cross Atlantic. You've run the Sahara. What's next?
Minister Medved doesn't know yet, but he's going to find out very soon.
Oh, we've got something coming.
Hrvatska is about to find out very quickly as well. The Everest Marathon.
The Everest Marathon.
Is run on the 29th of May every year.
No way.
To celebrate the first successful summit of Everest by Hillary and
Tenzing.
Tenzing. Yeah.
And where is this held? The foot
On
of
Everest. Funnily enough. It's a 10-day trek up to base camp.
Mm-hmm.
You spend 2 days in base camp.
Yeah.
And then you run an exact 42-kilometer marathon back down, almost back down the way you've come.
You're coming back here after you do that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's the plan.
And hopefully we'll get little fish to come with you. Hrvatska.
That'll be fantastic because he, like Werner, he is an excellent companion for this sort of event.
I can't recall. He speaks English?
Not so well. He pretends not to because he thinks I should improve my Croatian.
I see. Okay, well, at least you.
He'd
If
be good
not,
value.
If not, at least you.
You must get Werner on here.
After you come back from the Everest Marathon
Yeah.
and photos and what, like,
No,
I
think-
understand a
I think
marathon.
we got to come up ideas for for the next one.
We can come up with some adventure ideas, definitely. We've had the deep diver. He held the world record.
Hold.
Yes.
Does he still hold it?
Yeah.
Well, he
No. That's the other one. The one when he went down 125.
Aha, okay.
This was the oxygen-assisted one.
Breath hold, yeah.
Yeah, he
20
did half
29
an hour.
minutes. Yeah, but we can come up with some extreme.
Yeah, I got all kinds of ideas.
If you come up with the financial backing as well, I'm game.
We can ask
don't
all
tell my
300
wife,
followers to chip in.
Let's keep it under the
We'll
table.
keep it on the down low.
There are 300 people that follow us. I mean, 325. Everybody chips in $10.
Yeah. And one more thing I want to touch. We're coming close on time, but one more thing I want to touch on is you actually wrote a book about the crossing, right?
It's not specifically about the crossing so much as about it's my memoirs, really.
Okay.
So it covers everything from my service in the British Army, 7 years I spent in Northern Ireland on operations against the Irish terrorists, my time in the Spanish Foreign Legion, my time in the Croatian Army, the Karen Army in the Burmese jungle, setting world records for high altitude parachuting, ocean rowing,
Landing on the moon.
running across the Sahara,
Anyway, look.
climbing Kilimanjaro.
This is Martin's book,
That's the first edition.
the first edition,
There is an updated second edition.
with a new chapter and more photos.
More photos, yes.
As you'll see, there are photos inside.
There are over 150 colour photographs.
Oh, they're color in the new one.
They're colour, yes.
Available on Amazon, called Saddling Up Anyway, Martin Cruickshank. Maybe we can find it and get a link. We'll put it under the
Well,
video.
yeah, we'll
put a
link that
link to it
in
under
the
the
notes.
video. In the notes.
Yes.
Also, I'll add a link to the Ocean Rowing Society's file on you and Werner. It has the size of the boat, type, how long it took in minutes, days, hours, minutes. You can click on a map to show the exact route where they went, and there's other people that have crossed the Atlantic there too. So we'll add that.
A lot of
underneath
people
the
have done
video.
it a lot faster than us, in half the time.
Well, he
Other
did it-
people have taken a lot longer, but we took 83 days. Now, the Ocean Rowing Society website will say 81 days because they don't count the day that you pushed off or the day that you land.
I think it
They
said
count the number of
83
hole-
days.
Does it say 83?
I think it says it's not 81.
I thought it said 81. Okay.
For some reason, I got mixed up, thought it was 88, but I think... Anyway, you click on the link and you can see.
Yeah.
Speaking of rowers, I just need to get this in.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have... last month, we said that we would get the Sinkovic brothers, world champions, European champions, Olympic champions.
Galactic champions. Come on, man. They've won everything.
Champion of everything.
They could, like I said, they could row a hollowed out walnut and they'd win. It's ridiculous.
They had to cancel for this month. They said they're coming in next month, according to what their agent said, and we look forward to having them. It's a different type of rowing, but we're looking forward to having them as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
All right.
next month,
Thanks a lot, Martin, for coming.
Thanks a lot, Martin,
Martin,
for coming.
thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
Always good to see you.
Look forward to seeing you after the Everest
Exactly.
marathon.
back after the Everest.
Take photos and think about us when you're doing these photos. Anything that's attractive. I don't understand though. You're going to go up high. Doesn't the air get thinner out there?
50% of the oxygen you've got.
That's
down
why I
there.
got to
Yeah, so you're going to. How long did you say? 2 weeks to acclimatize?
2 days.
10 days to get up there. But this summer I took my family up Kilimanjaro, which is actually higher than base camp. So it's. I know I can deal with the altitude.
Yeah.
No, it's just how many people can say, "Oh, I just took my family up Kilimanjaro. We went for a coffee."
Well, hats off to them. All 4 of us made it up there. My wife and son and daughter.
But that's something, you take that for the rest of your life. That is fantastic, right?
Climbing Kilimanjaro is an incredible experience.
Yeah.
8 days, 6 up, 2 down.
Yeah. Climbing is a beauty. It's a fun thing to do. We're going to cut it there.
Yeah.
Martin, thanks for being here. And folks, I was just waiting for you to turn around to me. I was like, hey, you got to,
You know the
visage.
line. You know the line.
I know the line. I'm waiting for the visage, right? Anyways, thanks for being here. Keep it between the ditches. We'll see you next time.
You're listening to The Home Team, the voice of Croatia's sports podcast.
Football,
Basketball,
handball,
water polo,
tennis,
skiing.
sailing.
You name it, The Home Team has it covered.